Hi, I'm Brian Koslow. I'm the national best-selling author of 365 Ways to Become a Millionaire Without Being Born One. I also authored my second book, Self-Made, Generate Your Wealth Like a Millionaire. Over the past 25 years, I've coached and mentored over 200 self-made millionaires. And many of those self-made millionaires were not millionaires when they started in our coaching and mentoring programs. If they can do it, by definition, you can do it as well, because a self-made millionaire did not inherit it and did not win the lottery. These are people who worked for it. These are people who put their great minds together and figured out how to maximize their revenue. I'm going to share with you today a fundamental principle, something I've been able to use to create 5 multi-million-dollar companies. And you can use these principles as well. First, it's the principle of transferable skills. You see, in some companies you may need to be a nuclear physicist in order to own or run that company. In other companies, you may need some other vocational skill. In order to be a car mechanic, I'm certain you need to know something today about computers and mechanics. You've got to go to school for those types of things. But you see, those types of skills are not transferable. So they're not the type of skills that I'm referring to. The type of skills I'm referring to will work in any market, will work in any business, and will work whether there's a recession, a depression, or there's prosperity. And that is transferable skills. And the type of transferable skills I'm referring to are things like negotiating. Not just a simple word, but actually knowing how to negotiate. Not just how to negotiate with large groups, but how to negotiate just one-to-one on individual contracts or with people in a small team. Knowing the finesse and the ins and outs of negotiating is a critical skill, and it's transferable to any business you'll ever work with or run. Let's look at another transferable skill. It's the skill of communication. Now you might say you're a poor communicator, or you might say you're a good communicator, but let's really dissect communications. Communications isn't only speaking, it's listening as well. It may be writing. It may be persuading. You really have to look at all those different facets that are tied into communicating. If you could increase your skills in the area of communication, if we can coach and mentor you to be a more effective communicator, then you, by and large, can make more money. Just like self-made millionaires do, time after time after time. When Donald Trump declared bankruptcy, was there any doubt in your mind that he would make millions, if not billions of dollars all over again? I had no doubt, and I'm sure Donald Trump had no doubt either. Another millionaire skill is leadership. Now, you might say leadership is a word that's been overused. But you know what? There's specific ingredients to leadership that have not been overused. In fact, they're lacking in America today. It's one of the reasons why the leaders of the companies today are paid as much money as they are. They're paid that way because there's so few leaders. What are the critical ingredients to leadership? Well, for certain, it's negotiating, communicating, like we've already discussed. But there's other ingredients. How about the ability to create strategies that work? In other words, fundamentally, to be able to look at problems and opportunities, be able to get your arms around them with a big capacity and create a strategy that will work. That's a leadership skill. And that's something worth paying for. And in fact, if that's something you have or we can develop within you, that's something others will pay you for. Another key ingredient or a key leadership skill is the ability to have vision and communicate that vision. Many people are not in touch with their vision or cannot generate a vision, but that's a transferable skill that is incredibly valuable and others will pay a fortune for. And we can help you to develop your vision. As mentors and coaches, there's other skills that we help to develop that are transferable across the board to any company that you work at or that you lead. How about the skill of managing? Well, we've already talked about persuasion and communications and writing and listening. Certainly those are all ingredients that would go into being an effective manager as well. But what about the ability to assemble the right teams or put the right people into the right positions? That's a management skill that people would pay for, and they'd pay a lot of money for. Because if you can put an effective team together, you can win at any business. I'd sooner bet on a team than I would bet on the products or the services of a business, because an effective team will create the services and create the products of a business. An effective team will win every time. What about being proactive? That's a transferable skill. Now, what does that mean, being proactive? Well, there's those that watch what happens. There's those that maybe know what's happening. But there's those that make what's happening. And being proactive means that you're one of those that make what's happening. If you're somebody that can make things happen, that's something that others will pay for. And they'll pay a lot of money for it. You know that most lacking results are as a result of insufficient action. Well, if you're proactive, then you're taking as much action as necessary, if not more action than even necessary. You're jumping ahead, and you're making something happen ahead of the pack. If you can make things happen, then you're valuable, you're more valuable. And if we could show you how to make things happen effectively, then you will increase your value exponentially. Coaching and mentoring does that. Another transferable skill is problem solving. Now you might say, well, I solve problems. But do you solve problems as part of an effective strategy? Do you take problems and make them into opportunities? Do you know the Chinese character for problem is the same exact Chinese character for opportunity? Every problem has inherent in it an opportunity. If you could start to see problems as opportunities and start to couch them and put them within the structure of a strategy, if you can create strategies, negotiate more effectively, communicate with both speaking, writing, and listening more effectively, if you can become more persuasive and influential, if we could show you how to do these things more effectively, then you will become worth more money. Because these transferable skills are needed by every company in the world today. And they'll pay a high price for them. And they'll pay it ongoingly. In fact, companies will look for these transferable skills because they can move an individual with these skills from department to department, from opportunity to opportunity. And in fact, if you have these transferable skills, you may not need to work for a company at all. Because with the right strategy and the right team and the right vision and being proactive, you can launch your own venture and drive it all the way to success, especially with an effective coach. I invite you to go to our website, www.mystrategiccoach.com. There you will find tools that you can use to become a self-made millionaire. You'll find the tools that self-made millionaires have used to help them become rich and continue to help them to become richer. Again, it's www.mystrategiccoach.com.